What's up, guys? My name is Walter Strash. I'm going to be talking about a concept from this week's module, which is communication theory as a way to describe, predict, and explain behavior, and how I've seen this play out in my work life at a car dealership. So first, the concept itself. Communication theory helps us understand that communication isn't random. The text explains that theories allow us to describe, predict, and explain communication behaviors. That means instead of just reacting in conversation, we can actually understand patterns in how people think, respond, and make decisions. Another part of this concept that stood out to me is that the communication is learned and improved over time, not just something you're naturally good at. Before this, I thought being a good communicator was mostly personality based, but now I see it's more about awareness and adjustment. I've seen this a lot in my experience working in sales. When I first started the dealership, I treated every customer the same, with the same script, the same pitch, energy, approach. But I quickly realized that did not work for what they wanted. Some customers wanted straight facts, others wanted to build a relationship first, some were more skeptical than others, while others were ready to buy. And when I used the same communication style for all of them, I would lose opportunities. Once I started applying communication theory, even without realizing it at first, I began to notice patterns. I could almost predict how someone would respond based on how they communicated in the first few minutes. For example, if someone came in asking a lot of detailed questions, I learned they value logic and evidence. But if someone was more relaxed and conversational, they responded better to storytelling and building trust. And if someone seemed skeptical, I had to focus more on credibility and transparency. This is where the idea of theory really clicked for me. I wasn't just guessing anymore, I was starting to predict behavior based on communication patterns, which made me way more effective and confident. If I had to make an inference on why this works, I'd say it's because people have different communication preferences and expectations. When you match that, it makes them feel understood. And when people feel understood, they're more open, more comfortable, and more likely to trust you. Another thing that I realized is the first impression mattered a lot in communication. Sometimes people decided how they feel about you before you even fully explain something. So adapting early in conversation is huge. And where I saw that is where they would assume that I didn't know much just because I was so young. Now transferring this to another context outside of work, I've noticed the same thing applies in my personal life. Whether it's friendship, school, or relationship, communication works better when you understand how the other person communicates. For example, some people are more direct while other people are more emotional or expressive. If you don't recognize that difference, it can lead to misunderstanding or even unnecessary conflict. But if you adjust in your communication style, conversations become way smoother and more productive. I've also seen this in group projects in school. Some people want to get straight to the task while others want to talk things out more. Understanding those differences helps the group work better together. So overall, this concept helped me realize that communication is something that you can actually improve with awareness and practice. It's not just about what you say, but how and why you say it, and how the other person receives it. And for me especially, going into a career where relationship, trust, and influence are everything, this is something I'll keep applying to my everyday life. Thank y'all.